Hi everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Live, episode 4, the final episode of the Presuppositions of NLP 2.0. And we've got our final 3, which is there is no absolute truth. You create your own. There is no certainty outside of you. You create it inside of you. And everything is energy. So let's go with that first one. You know, there's no absolute truth. You create the truth inside of you. So I remember I was doing a master practitioner training, and one of my delegates said to me, she said, David, do you believe there's an absolute truth? And I said, no, I don't. And she goes, may I suggest that you start searching for the truth again? She didn't actually sound like that, by the way, but
that would have been scary.
I would have definitely needed some timeline therapy, mental emotional release to let go of the fear of that one. And she goes, may I suggest you start searching for the absolute truth again? And I said, as soon as I stopped searching for the truth outside of me, I found it everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere I looked, there was truth. So this is, it's like if you look at it, what is a person's truth? A person's truth is their beliefs. And because of what we talked about in previous presuppositions of NLP 2.0, like everything is your projection. You create your own experience, including creating the experience of the illusion of being an effect.
Yes. Then
what we do is we make our beliefs come true. Yeah. And we know from an NLP point of view, we know from a HUNA point of view, we know from a timeline therapy point of view, and also a mental emotional release point of view, that in actual fact we can change our beliefs. So therefore, there can't be one absolute truth, because each person wandering around on the planet is actually creating their own truths.
Yes.
Yeah. It reminds me of the thing you talked about in it wasn't the last one. It was the
yes.
The Presuppositions of NLP 2.0 episode 2 about the circle and the triangle.
Yes.
I think that's a real example of that, isn't it?
It is. So just to refresh your memory, what you basically got is it's the old story about, kind of one person says, I can see a circle. The other person says, well, you're wrong, because it's a triangle. That's not a circle, it's a triangle. What they're looking at is they've got a cone in front of them.
Right.
And you see there's a couple of interesting things that comes out of that. The one of which is people's belief patterns are actually then make them predisposed to see certain shapes, if you like.
Yeah.
And also the other thing about it is a triangle is flat, and a circle is flat, whereas the cone is a three-dimensional object. It's real, it has lots of different aspects to it. So, and then because you see arguments between people where you get, the arguments between the people who believe that it's a circle and the people who believe it's a triangle, and they get very annoyed because they're saying, how can you possibly say it's a triangle?
Yep.
It's round. They're going, no, it's not round. There are sharp edges. There are corners on it. How can you possibly call that a circle? Because they are actually describing the same thing just from different points of view.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that's actually a good thing if you can actually say, my belief is not the only belief, or this is not the only way of looking at things. So let's say that, for instance, in business or anything that you want to do, where you've got a team, if you've got the person in charge of it who says, guys, it is a circle. If I hear anybody else saying it's not a circle, they can leave.
All right.
Or he says, I see this as a circle. What do you guys see? Someone says, I see it as a triangle. It's like, okay. So between you then start to explore it, and then the different viewpoints actually mean that, kind of like the whole becomes more than the sum of its parts, rather than this battle between, kind of like my belief is right. So
it's like really truth doesn't actually exist.
No.
It's a creation.
It's a camera angle.
Yeah. So does this person absolutely believe it's true this is a circle? Yeah. Does this other person absolutely truly believe the truth is it's a triangle?
Yes.
Yeah. does the third person go, you're both wrong. The truth is, it's a cone.
Yes.
Who's right and who's wrong? Nobody. They're all right in their particular model of the world. And everything's a model. That was our first presupposition NLP 2.0. So really the question is, does the truth that you are operating from work for you?
Yes.
Does it enable you to be who you want to be? Does it enable you to do what you want to do? Does it enable you to have what you want to have? And if the answer to that question is no, then change your truth.
Yes.
You know, when I'm working with my my private one-to-one clients, they come in and the truth is they have a problem. My job is to enable them to change their truth.
Yes.
To go from it's a circle to it's a cone. Yeah. And so they leave and their perception is that now their problem has disappeared and they've got what they want. Yeah. But in actual fact, none of it was true anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, this also ties in very nicely to our next presupposition of NLP 2.0, which is there is no certainty outside of you. You create the certainty inside of you. And, you know, this is a real, I think, important one to get at this particular point in time, particularly in a point in time in history at the moment. Because here in the UK, in Europe, we've got this thing called Brexit. Now, I'm not going to talk about Brexit from a political point of view, whether it's good or bad or anything like that. So forget attempting to flame us in the comments or whatever. I'm not saying Brexit, Remain, whatever. I'm just saying there's this thing which is creating for a lot of people uncertainty outside of them. And so what I'm seeing a lot of people doing is waiting. They're not taking action in their job, in their business, in their life. And as we said in the last episode of this, episode 3, the only way really of failing is to do nothing. I'm seeing a lot of people not doing anything. They're sitting on the fence, and it's like they're waiting. They're sitting there. I'm going to wait until normal service is resumed. What you've got to realize is this is normal service. You're going to be waiting for a long time. You know, I thought last week, finally Brexit's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm going like this is good. I'm going like finally there looks like some certainty has resumed, so that people will start taking action again. I looked at the papers this morning, and again now it's uncertain again, and people are waiting again. So you'll never find any certainty outside of you. What you've got to do is find the certainty inside of you. It's acting as if there's certainty, making your own, being certain about your own truth. With my private clients, quite often I get people coming to me and they say, this is what I want to work with you on, this is the result I want to get. And I don't know whether it's possible or not, because I actually haven't got a frame of reference for it. So what I say to them is, okay, I don't know whether that's possible. And I am willing to act as if it's possible long enough to find out whether it's possible or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when we did the veterans programs. You've got people in the room, they've been doing anxiety or depression or PTSD maybe for 10, 15 years. They've had lots of treatment for that. Obviously, none of it's worked because otherwise they wouldn't be in the room with me. And then we rock up and we go like, okay, we can get this sorted out in 3 days. Now, I say to people, okay, this is what this is about. How many of you would go for it if possible? And of course, all the hands go up. But there's an elephant in the room. It's called skepticism. And you would be skeptical, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say to them, okay, so how many are you skeptical? All the hands go up. I go like, okay, so how many of you are willing to suspend your skepticism long enough to find out whether it's possible or not? And all the hands go up. As soon as you've got that point, it's game on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what this particular presupposition of there's no certainty outside of you, you've got to create it inside.
And if you look at the great leaders, if you look at the people who really inspire who create change, who can like draw people to them like a magnet, they are people who have certainty inside themselves.
Right.
Because they are like a rock in a heaving sea. Everybody's like bobbing around and spinning and swirling. And then there's like a lighthouse,
right.
Sure and solid, and it sits there. And what creates that certainty is not some way of almost calming the sea where they are.
Right.
And it's not waiting for the sea to be flat. It's about having the certainty to say, this is where we're going. And by hook or by crook, we will get there. There is a lot of uncertainty around, but there's also a lot of change. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to be aware of the fact that that's where you're going. And so the first casualty of war is always the plan. Mm-hmm. But it's the overall. This is what we want to do. This is the mission. This is our direction. We're heading in that way. Are we going to get blown off course by this?
Yep.
Yes. Are we going to get swept off course by that? Yes.
Yep.
But the thing which people crave and cling to is to have some sort of certainty about we will get there. We've got the why, we've got the vision, and then we will simply course correct. Because the thing about it is you never know if something is a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, whether Brexit happens, whether it doesn't, whether it turns out that it was a good thing or it was a bad thing. And the thing about it is people say, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And for me, the word or is a little bit tricky because it's and.
Yes.
There are pros and there are cons.
Yep.
There are circles and there are triangles. And when people look at it, people look at Brexit and some people say, no, it's an incredibly bad thing. And some people say, no, it's an incredibly good thing. It's important that needs to happen. In truth, what you'll probably find is that it's all of those things and more.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we remain if it's going to be a good thing. We don't know if we exit if it's going to be a good thing. And also a good thing is simply the composite of so many things. So there's so much complexity. You can't hope to understand it and you can't hope to wait until that complexity goes away because that complexity is simply the universe doing what it does.
Yep.
Which says we've got energy squirting about in all sorts of directions, guys, here. If you're waiting for it to stop, then you have to wait for the heat death of the universe, which means you're only allowed to start your business when the last sun goes out and entropy rules.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, I'm not prepared to wait for that long, so we have to go into the sea regardless of what state it is, and the only way you can do that is by saying, we're going to get there, by hell or high water, that's what we're going to do.
And it ties in really to the previous one as far as like there's no absolute truth, because there are people that I know, friends that I know, who go like, Brexit is if it happens, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's their truth. I've got other friends, particularly friends who do Forex trading, who are going, all of this uncertainty around Brexit is brilliant because I'm absolutely creaming a load of money out of the Forex market because it's so choppy and it's moving so much. Long may it remain.
Yes.
That's their truth. Yeah. But, and each of them have a certainty about their own truth.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, but what they're doing is, they create that certainty inside of them. And it's a little bit like, you've got the certainty inside, create that, and then the thing that you're certain about, does it work for you or not?
Yes.
If it doesn't, then change your certainty.
Beliefs are written in pencil, not pen.
Yeah, absolutely. You can transform them, which ties in nicely to the next one, which is everything is energy. I think we've known this from a scientific point of view now for quite a long time. When you study science at school, you learn that everything is made of atoms, and atoms are like tiny solar systems, and they've got electrons whizzing around this, a proton and a neutron, which is like the sun, and the electrons are like the planets. And then you go to university and do physics, and they go, okay, it's not actually like that. It's actually all energy, it's all vibration. So, we've got this thing, and it appears to be solid. But what we know now is that it's not solid. It's probably 95 to 99% space, and it's energy vibrating at such a rate that it actually, in our experience, appears to be solid. But also what we've got is the universe contains infinite energy. And energy can neither be created or destroyed. It just is, okay? So here's so therefore, a problem is energy. Let's say that somebody has sadness. Sadness is energy, and you can't destroy energy. So you can't have somebody's sadness disappear. Yeah? If they say, well, I want my sadness to disappear so that I can be happy, happy is energy, and neither can you destroy the energy of sadness or create the energy of happiness.
Yes.
What we're actually doing when we're working with people around that with NLP or timeline therapy, mental or emotional release, or HUNA techniques, is we're actually having the person transform the vibration of the energy so their perception of it changes.
Yes.
Sadness is made of the same energy as happiness. A limiting belief is made of the same energy as an empowering belief. What we're actually doing when we use those change techniques is we're transforming the energy.
It's almost like, because if you look at it, light is, kind of like different colors of light. It's the same energy, it's just vibrating at a slightly different frequency. So it's almost like saying in the person, they are luminous.
Right.
And you can't turn that luminosity off. They are going to give forth light. But what you can do is change the frequency at which the light is being emitted so that they go from a sad light to a happier light.
Yep. Now, the other thing with this is, since the universe has infinite energy in it, and you can't destroy energy, one of the things I realized when I decided, like how many years ago, 26, 27 years ago, that I was going to be a professional speaker, presenter, trainer, that I no longer could entertain the luxury, if you like, of a heavy gravity day. Those mornings that you wake up and it's like somebody's turned the control up from 1G to 9G.
Yes.
And because of this extra gravity, you just can't even lift the duvet.
Duvet weighs the same as a family car. It's like, must.
But since the universe has, so essentially, like, if you wake up with a heavy gravity day, as in a day where you feel really low energy, since the universe contains infinite energy, that's just an illusion. So then what you've got to be able to learn is how to be able to change that illusion, how to change that truth of low energy to the truth of I've got a ton of energy. Because, whether it's a virtual presentation like this one, or it's a live one like a live event, your audience expect you to rock up with bells on. Yeah, which ain't going to happen if you're creating the illusion of there's not enough energy to go around.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything's energy. That's a real key one, I think.
It's almost one of the things I love, because I love sailing. One of the things I find fascinating about sailing is the fact that you can sail very, very close into wind.
Right.
So there is a force, there is an energy coming in that direction, but that same energy, if you've got a sailing boat, you can actually use to make you shoot off almost in the same direction that the energy is coming from. And I guess it's saying that there is always energy flowing through the universe. The question is, how do you harness it? How do you create almost your own internal sailing boat which uses those things?
Right.
There are people who take, kind of like either sadness or pain, but then, transmute it into like a motivating force. The people who've like gone through stuff in their lives where they say, that's gone from being a sense of pain to a sense of, kind of like a desire for change. It's like, I understand what happened there, and now I'm determined to make sure that I help other people in the same situation.
Right.
So it's like saying you've got lead here. It's that almost like alchemy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're transmuting something. If you've got like a lump
metals into gold.
Exactly. You've got like a lump of something in front of you. You can't get rid of it. What you then do is say, what do I want it to be? And that's the lovely thing about because we live in a world and a universe of our own creation. Because the only thing we actually see is our model.
Yep.
We have almost complete control. It's like the Matrix, where you suddenly go, actually, you know what? I'm simply going to change that because it is a model in my head.
Yep.
So you then basically say, are the models that surround me serving me or hindering me?
Yeah.
Because it's like if you designed your own flat, you wouldn't put into it stuff you didn't like.
Right.
Yeah. If someone says, okay, blueprint of the house, you're going to have that set up exactly the way that you want it. And it's the same is then true of your psyche. It takes obviously skills and it takes practice and takes knowing how to do that. But the point is that it is possible. And knowing that something is possible is the key to, as we said, carrying on even when you can't see the results until suddenly things take off at the end.
Yeah. So that's the final episode of our Presuppositions of NLP 2.0. Previous episodes, what we've offered you at the end of that is a free webinar.
Yes.
Around certain things that we talked about in that particular episode. We're going to do something different since this is the final one. Rather than a webinar, what we're going to offer you is a live event. It's a live event that we ran several months ago, hugely successfully. We had about 100 people there. And we gave it a provocative title, just to be different. We called it Sex, Money and Power. Experience the energy of NLP 2.0. And you might have seen that little video that I did. I just opened it up, went like sex, money, power. How are you feeling right now? Some people are going to like, bring it on, yeah, baby. Other people are going like, that's the problem with the world today. Everybody's into sex, money, and power. And I said, isn't it interesting how 3 small words can change our emotional state in an instant? Because that's really what NLP is about for me. Well, it may well happen again. We had people contacting us saying, take me off your mailing list. This email is offensive. We had people going to Facebook saying to Facebook, please take this video down. It's offensive. So anyway, what we're doing is we're doing it again. So the event is called Sex, Money and Power. Experience the energy of NLP 2.0, which ties into that final presupposition there. Because if you'd looked at what people were searching for in Google 5 years ago in the personal development space, they were searching for how do I make more money, how do I become rich, how do I become wealthy. If we look today, that's changed. Now what people are searching for is how do I get more energy?
Yes.
Because if you think about it, what is sex? Sex is energy. It's the most powerful energy. The energy of polarity is actually everywhere if you look at sex and polarity as energy. Yeah, it's the most powerful energy in the universe. And I think what's happened is that people have like chunked up, and they've gone, if I got more energy, would I be able to make more money?
Yes.
Yeah. If I got more energy, would I be able to revitalize my relationship? Yeah. If I had more energy, would I have more health and vitality? Yeah. So that's why we called it Sex, Money and Power, and also to get your attention. So we're running that event again in London. It's an all-day event, and it truly is, when it says experience the energy of NLP 2.0. This isn't a training, this is an experience. So whether you're new to NLP, whether you're a practitioner, a master practitioner, trainer, or master trainer, we had people at all of those kind of levels of certification at the previous one that we did, and right across the board, everybody went, that was an amazing experience. I'm going to demonstrate the energy and the power of NLP 2.0 one on many. I'm going to demonstrate what you can actually do with this stuff with groups. And I'm not just going to talk about it in theory. I'm going to show you how it's done and what the actual experience is. Then I'm going to demonstrate actually in front of you how the energy and the power of NLP 2.0 can work one-on-one. I'm going to show you how just by having a conversation, you can enable somebody to transform their beliefs, change their truth, if you like. I'm going to show you how with timeline therapy and mental emotional release, we can enable somebody to overcome a major debilitating problem in a matter of minutes, right in front of your eyes. I'm going to show you the true power of hypnosis to enable people to transform personally in a matter of minutes. So that's what we're going to do on that day. As I said previously, we had 100 people at the first one that we did, and it was a long day. It was from 10 till 8. It seemed to go past in the blink of an eye.
It's because it's such fun.
It was great
fun.
It was a great laugh. I had a fantastic day. Everybody else had a fantastic day. The unanimous thing was, wow, I've seen some powerful stuff, but I didn't realize you could create that kind of powerful stuff whilst having so much fun and so much entertainment.
Yeah,
so,
they said they expected it to be educational because it was coming from you. What they did not expect it to be was that entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You need to come see it.
So there's a link associated with this video. Click on that link and actually book your place on Sex, Money and Power. Experience the energy of NLP 2.0. It's going to be in London. And also, when you book on that, actually book it in your diary. And no matter what else is happening in the world, whether Brexit is happening or not, then actually make sure that you're not only booked on it, that you show up and actually have that experience. Yeah. So thanks for joining us for this series of 4. Thanks, Pete, for joining us.
It's been a real pleasure. It's been a real pleasure.
Presuppositions of NLP 2.0. We will be back next Thursday with a new theme for our Facebook Lives. So until then, have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great one, guys.